Respected Chair, Honorable Chiefs, Senior Officers, ladies and gentlemen. Marshal Mateshwaran had raised the issue of user involvement, and Deputy Chief spoke about R&D involvement in Air Force. So that will be one of my focus on R&D in Defense Forces today when I talk of advancing domestic R&D. And one more part which probably I will be briefly touching upon but not really going deep into it is need for techno-financial experts in MOD. This I will not dwell deep into it, but just for information. So, okay, I'll briefly cover 4 phases of Atmanirbharta. I will not cover in detail, but I would like you to have a look at the year of development of these aircraft, why Atmanirbharta R&D, organize R&D structures in PLA, US Defense Forces, do we need it? Would they lead to duplication, large requirement of manpower, resources? Do we have the mandate? And do we need techno-financial experts? These are the issues which briefly I'll be touching upon. Goals already covered, but here we would like to focus on science and research-based aerospace industry. How do we build it? Roughly, I have divided aerospace industry's evolution into 4 phases. First one was self-reliance phase, which according to me, having seen the trajectory, 1951 we made HT2 and then HJT16 various aircraft. I'll briefly touch. Second was a setback to self-reliance. Third was uncertainty phase with course correction. Because a lot of our projects moved forward in this project. I think this current phase is the most promising phase if we use it appropriately. So briefly, the year of manufacture indicates where we were. Some of the effort was done by Dr. Govt and of course AVM Harjinder Singh. Second phase. We still continued, but there was an uncertainty. We were not really sure whether we are going to induct, and we really did not pursue what we started. I think there's a problem with the presentation, but Marut, we were upgrading Marut. We were upgrading engines of Marut, trying to integrate afterburners or Orpheus engine. There was a plan to develop HF-73. Marut trainer had been developed. Marut had done reasonably well in 1971 war, but as raised by previous speaker, that we did not pursue. So this is the uncertainty phase with course corrections. A lot of projects started, but they moved slowly. Their future was uncertain for various reasons. Now in the current phase, a lot of promising projects are there, but there are challenges. TOT and acquisitions. There are many manufacturing we undertook in India. But my question is, did we leverage these for self-reliance? Even today, 1295, we are moving. Avro, we had received full transfer of technology and first aircraft was made in India. In aircraft manufacturing depot in Kanpur. In C295, 16 aircraft are coming from Spain and then we are manufacturing in India. How do we plug the past gaps and leverage it to upgrade, develop future and indigenous variants now since the private industry has come? So unless we learn from the past, probably after 20 years we realize we have done the same thing by the private sector industry. So that should not happen. We must be aware and alert, and we should do it everything with a clear goal in mind. We have signed many technology collaboration with international partners. Recently we signed with France. Who benefited? US, AFRL came, collaborated with our startups. There are many entities, US DoD, Space Defense Force, they signed collaboration with our startups. I thought we were supposed to learn from them. We should have been looking at their startups and trying to harness their ecosystem. This is one thought. We have to keep it in our mind. how can we optimally leverage such collaboration? It should not happen that we open our innovation ecosystem to them and whatever little we have, it goes abroad. That should not happen. In the phase one, when I study the history a little deeply, I thought those leaders who started the aeronautics self-reliance, they took decisions. Subsequently, phase two was a setback. As I said, phase three had uncertainty. Phase four is promising, but there are critical challenges, as has come out since morning. TOTs was not leveraged. Joint development did not succeed. FGF failed. Why is important, not what is important. International collaborations, as I said, Indo-Sex, Indo-French collaboration, are they benefiting? 6 Air Force officers have been MDs and CMDs of HCL. How did we not leverage it, and where do we learn? We need to learn lessons today. Do we do technical evaluation of closed and slow-moving projects? Because blaming does not help. There should be clear technical evaluation of where we are going wrong at the right time to do the necessary course corrections. That is how we can do, and how can we become Atmanirbhar, which is the theme of today's thing. China, Pakistan on our borders, 5th, 6th generation fighters, and many other transport, force multipliers, helicopters, UCAV, other defense equipment. I've been studying Chinese trajectory. Their trajectory is different. When we were going for MiG-21 and Jaguar, they were going for MiG-15, MiG-17, MiG-19 in large numbers, learning the art of designing, developing, upgrading, modifying, and developing their indigenous variant. That was the trajectory which they followed. We still believe that getting a private sector itself is adequate. But I think we should not forget whether the private sector or public sector, whoever comes, we should have a real roadmap for upgradation, development of future variants, and development of indigenous variants. If we don't do that, whether you get a public sector or private sector, we will end up same. So we should not do that, do that mistake again. There is a lot of learning from Chinese model. In fact, before I come back to this, Chinese also, if I look at last year, our civil airlines signed contracts for 1,150 aircraft. It is aerospace. I, as an airman, I feel it is my responsibility to tell the government that this 1,150 aircraft is a national resource. 1,150 aircraft acquisition at the listed cost amounts to $115 billion. If you compare the figures with the $3.49 billion deal of MQ-9, it's nothing. It is a national resource. Can we look at civil-military fusion? How do we do it? Those are the questions I think we need to think as air warriors. Why Atmanirbharta? Now look at the funding for capital acquisition. Now, if you take a rate of whatever your 7% growth, how much of funding we will have? Now, exclude the money which you are going to acquire it. Now, leave that money for R&D. It is a mathematical calculation. Any of us can sit down and do it. We'll realize then we have indigenous versus import dilemmas, which we had in the Marut era. We need to keep all these in mind when we take decisions. Decisions, indecisions, or delays will have a long-term impact on Atmanirbharta. And out of whatever these figures, 60% are already earmarked for committed liabilities. Let's move. So here I will, again, as I said, I will look at need for R&D vertical in defense forces, techno-finance experts in MOD. PLA. These are Americans who have really acknowledged that China has moved significantly fast. Since time is less, many Westerners call him as the father of China's space and nuclear program. He was in China, US in 1935. He went on a scholarship. He stayed there. He became a colonel in US Air Force, US Army. And he interrogated the father of US space program, Professor Braun, after World War II. And he came back to China in 1955 and built their space and nuclear program. General Zhao Zu Many view him as a father of their drone program or unmanned aircraft program. PLAF Equipment Research Academy. Now I want you to relate it with the R&D structures in Indian Air Force and why China has got these structures. Look at the Army, Air Force, Naval institutes, the kind of projects they are involved in it. Do they take over such projects? No. But they are part of all projects as members of design teams. And their super specialization is encouraged. CMC has got two interesting departments which are in red. Equipment Development Department is a tri-service organization. Why I brought this is today we are in the age of reforming our DMA and headquarter IDS. Equipment Development Department and Science and Technology Commission, even Matheshwaran sir had raised the issue of Aerospace Commission. So when we are looking at a transformation of IDS, when we are looking at a transformation of DMA, we need to keep these in mind. Where do we plug in or put our adequate structures that we have the technical expertise to advise and take over future. Even their National University of Defense Technology, you look at our university being proposed, Tri-Service University. They are doing deep research. These verticals I can take out later on since time is less and think of how we want to prepare our defense forces. US organic R&D structures. Army Futures Command, why US has got a R&D structure once they are the world's best public and private sector entities? How do they contribute? This must make us analyze that why they have so many research elements in the defense forces. Is it only the money or is it more than that? Similarly, Combat Capability Development Establishment, they get into very many technical issues. AFRL, ONR. So this is what I propose. Why do they have, is it communist, high resources, whatever reason we need to analyze them as per what is required. So this is what I propose we need to create R&D and equipment development verticals in DMA, especially under a JS. One of the JS can have this. And also similar vertical in headquarter IDS. And I also believe in addition to design directors, we need to have a small vertical of research and development which looks at futuristic technologies. That kind of expertise can be done by using existing manpower. We don't need special extra manpower. I will explain a little later. Techno-finance experts I will not cover, and also military civil technology fusion policy. This is what I was saying since time is less. Would R&D structures lead to duplication? No. A complex project requires hundreds of scientists. 3 or 4 technology experts from the defense forces can really make the difference if they are domain experts and part of design team. They don't come at a review stage, they are part of the design team. They save time and resources which is spent in designing and coming for review. Similarly, do organizations mean large manpower? No, existing manpower. We have project management team, many other people. We have to just make the career profiles for them and demand certain specialization when they go for MTech and PhDs. Do defense forces have a mandate to participate, steer, if required, lead? No. That is where many senior officers, when we discuss, they say we don't have a mandate. So when you look at allocation of business rules or charter or duties, I think that little line where we can be part of it, it gives a confidence. We put the right people. These advantages I don't want to discuss because we have said. This is all from my side, what our President Abdul Kalam said for your. Thank you, sir.